Welcome, everybody, and thank you for joining me in this amazing series of goal setting and intention settings for 2013. This is Javier Del Carpio, and I'm so excited to share with you these powerful techniques for you to empower your life and to really create a wonderful year and a wonderful life. So grab a piece of paper and a pen and be ready to take notes, and you will really enjoy today's webinar. Is filled with amazing, valuable, applicable tools that you will be able to implement in your life. So let's review a little bit our concepts from our previous session. With that, we will go over the importance of having a powerful why. So your why will allow you to move forward when things become tough in life. The other thing is that your vision gets to connect with the why. So once you have a vision and you have a powerful reason to do it, you will be able to achieve it. So in addition to that, you get to connect with the feeling that you will have if you already have your vision. So in simple terms, when you are looking at the vision of where you are right now, let's say that you're right here, and this is where you want to be, this is the bigger person in you. It's important to have that vision of who you want to become and the feelings that you will have when that happens in your life. So you want to be able to express the feelings that will be inside of your heart when that happens. So connect to that feeling, allow yourself to be in touch of that. And in order for you to get there, also is very important that you start taking actions. And you taking one step at a time until you get there. And remember that we talked earlier that sometimes the way to get to where you want to be might not be just a direct line. You might have to go up and down, back and forth, and instead of looking like this, you will start looking like this. And eventually you will get there. So that's a brief summary of what we have been talking so far. And what we're going to go about next is the fact that in our previous sessions we have been talking about the past. We have some reflections of what you did last year. You look at your positive accomplishments that generated a theme for success. And then we also look at our failures that we were able to forgive. And we start looking at the future, and we start looking at the vision of what we want to create in that time. So let's now come back to our present and start looking at more specifically how do we build a powerful experience and how do we create meaning on what we want to achieve this year. So the first step for that will be to go over our categories that we talked about earlier. If we look at the categories of health, wealth, happiness, and meaningful work, we in our last presentation we talked about how much of each of our goals we accomplished last year. And today we're going to go over these goals and what we want to create this year. Okay, so the first step to do that is we're going to start with our goals. And as we start with our goals, the first thing that we're going to look at is in these categories: health, wealth, happiness, and meaningful work. I want you to create a list, you know, blank piece of paper, and start with health. As you start with your health category, start writing all the ideas, every single thing that comes to your mind. Allow yourself about 2 minutes to do that and start writing down everything that you consider you would like to have of your health in 2013. And as you go and finish that exercise, you're going to repeat it for your wealth, your happiness, and your meaningful work. Once you have complete that, the next step will be to narrow it down and to just start looking at, let's say, I will look from 3 to 5 items here and look at those items that you couldn't live without them. Start narrowing down your list and say, okay, if any of these items were gone, which are the ones that I must have in my life? So I might say, well, for me, something that provides meaning in my health is eating in nice restaurants and having gourmet food every day, or I would say run a marathon or go hiking. But one of the things that I cannot live with is a continuous, constant routine of exercise. So for me, if I'm looking at that in the health category, I would say I want to train 3 times per week. So that will be one of my goals for next year, to consistently do exercise 3 times a week. So once you do that, you will create like a chart like this, and you will put 1, 2, whatever goals you have, you will have a list of those. In your wealth, you might say, well, I want to have savings this year of $10,000. Okay? Keep in mind that these goals have to be something that is challenging for you and has to be something measurable. And a good way to go about this is to ask yourself the question, how will it look when I accomplish this goal? So for example, you might want to say, I want to have better relationship with people. So how do you have better relationship with people? Okay, so one of the things that you might want to define a little bit better is that when you have relationship with people, you want to be fully present with them, or you want to spend 30 minutes on the phone with your parents, or you want to uh, take your significant other for dinner once a week and be fully present with her or with him. So look at these goals, make it very specific, and start writing a list of 3 to 5 for you. Now, once we finish with the goals, the next thing that we're going to look is at our intentions. And when we look at intentions, the thing that we get to do, this is more the connection with your emotions, with your feelings, with your heart. So for each one of the categories that we talked before, I want you to imagine that you already have that, and start creating a picture in your mind of that result. So when you look at when you look at that, I would like you to write it down in the present tense. So for your intentions, if we look at the goals that we have in the previous slide, if we go back here, you are going to create the intentions for your health, wealth, happiness, and meaningful work. And if you go, for example, the one that I put here, that it was in the health category, to do exercise 3 times a week. When I go to the intentions and I start defining that same goal from this perspective, I will take it from there and I will say, okay, the goal in the previous page is to have an exercise routine of 3 times per week throughout the year. So this is the goal. Now, what we do is we move from the goal and we create an image of how will look that for us. So when we look at that image, we write it like if it already happened in present tense. And then you can use any sentence like we have here that will trigger your emotions. So you create a mental picture. Be creative. The other section that we just talked about is more analytical. This section here is for your creativity. So I want you to be creative here. So in order to define, in this example, 3 times a week exercise, the way that it will work in the present tense will be something like, I am now so happy and so grateful to find myself with this amazing body and be in top shape that I'm able to run a marathon under 4 hours. When I do hikes or when I go to the beach to surf, I feel completely in shape. I can breathe better. My body feels amazing. Or you could say something like, I feel amazed now that I have been doing exercise for all this time, that my body is strong. I feel powerful every morning. I can sense the energy through all my body as I wake up every day and go outside and run by the beach. Or you could say like, I am grateful for this opportunity to be in connection with the nature every day that I go out there and run, and I could smell the breeze and I can feel the energy around me. It's just an amazing feeling that allows me to feel powerful and energetic every single day of the week. So you can use your imagination, do whatever connects with you, and a good rule of thumb that this is working for you is how you feel after you describe this sensation. So allow yourself to be excited, to be crazy, to be powerful, and this will be a good indication that you are creating a good intention for you. So I want you to write down in a piece of paper your intentions for each of the categories that you wrote before for your goals. So in this case, you will have your goals that you define here, and then you will have each of your goals. Let's say you have goal 1, 2, 3, 4, and then when you go to your intentions, you will have, out of this goal, you will create an intention. So I am grateful for, and then you will take this one and you will do the same thing. You will go with each one of those, and then you will take the next categories and do the same thing. Once you have finished that, we're going to go from here into back to your goal setting, the analytical part of it. And what I want you to do as you go back to the analytical side of it and start reviewing this, I want you to start really defining your plan of action for each one of this. So for example, when you go into the analytical part of it and you say I want to do exercise 3 times per week, then go to your calendar and you can create something like could be like this: week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, and in each week you could have the category of exercise, and you can say in this category for week 1, you're going to keep track of how many times have you done exercise this week. So let's say this week I did 2 times, and the next week I did 1, this week I did 3, and this one I did 3. So this will be a good way to track your progress when you work with that. One good reference in order to look at goals and progress from the analytical point of view is really be very specific. They call it SMART goals, and when you go with that, just have a clear definition of exactly how you want to achieve it. We're talking about the analytical part. When you go to the emotional part, you're going to integrate the parts of the intention that we have back here, and this is the part that you're going to start integrating. So analytical is specific. So this is like you have a plan of actions, and your emotional part is your feelings. Okay? So from there, we move on to the visual part. For the visual part is about creating images. So when you look at, you want to do exercise 3 times a week, the emotional part makes me feel great every time that I am doing exercise. And the visual part, I imagine, you could imagine whatever you want there. You just allow yourself to come with whatever is in your mind without really thinking or rationalizing it. So when you look at the visual, I could imagine the shape of a tree. So for some people, this might not represent anything, but for me, a tree is strong, grounded, alive, and blossoming. So in that way, you start integrating all these aspects to really have a center point of focus, which will give you tremendous power to achieve your goals. So let's recap a little bit. Analytical mind, we look at goals. So when here you go to your goals, and then you do daily and weekly tracking. So when you go through that, a good resources that you could have, you could go here to Amazon, for example, and you could look at this book is called Mastering the Rockefeller Habits from Bernd Harnisch. And this book is more about corporations and increased value of your firm. However, they have really good ideas about tracking goals and creating specific ways to track performance. One of the things that they mention in that book, for example, they have something called KPIs. These are key performance indicators. So for example, if I'm using analytical mind here and I have a goal of doing exercise 3 times per week, my key performance indicator will be to have a consistency of 3 times a week exercise. And the way that I will do that, I will have this chart that I mentioned to you before, in which this is very, very analytical. You will keep track of each one of your goals here, and you will create something weekly or daily. It's up to you. I recommend put it by week. So you have each one of your weeks here. And when you go with your KPIs will go here. And those key performance indicators will give you specifics that you will have, and you will be tracking those every week. So for example, if you have another goal, which is I want to save $12,000 in in the next year, so my KPI will be $12,000. And my tracking mechanism here will be if I'm saving $1,000 every month. So that's how that will look like for you. Okay, so the next thing here is we go from the analytical mind to the emotional mind. When we go from the goals that are more analytical, we go to our intentions that are more connected with emotion. So this is a process of integration of all of this together. So if my goal was to do exercise 3 times per week, and I have my tracking chart of that, every morning I will choose one of those intentions and I will read out loud what I created in the past. I will read out loud the ideas about my intention. This one, I will read out loud. I am now so happy that I have been training 3 times a week and I feel my body energized. I feel myself full of power. And you will read that every morning and you will say something like, today I am creating health. And then you will say, I am so grateful that my body is strong, that I exercise 3 times a week. And after you finish with that intention, you will create an image for it. So in this case, I will close my eyes and I will say, once I go through that and I look at and I read it out loud, then my image will be the tree. So I will have that image of a tree here. And this is just when you wake up every morning, just have this intention next to your bed and read it every morning. And once you read that, imagine in your mind's eye how that will look like. And each day choose a different intention, and obviously the image might change for you depending of the day. So don't worry about that. And the idea of all of this is that we are going to engage our emotions and our intellect, our intuition. And here, this is the rational mind. So here, this is not rational. This is creative. Okay? Now, the other thing that I will recommend for you is that the next step here will be for you to integrate your visual mind. This is the part of the images. So when you integrate the images, a good way to do it is by creating a vision board. So the way that works is that you create based on the goals that you set and your intention in each of the categories. You go and look for a big cardboard or poster board and you find a bunch of magazines, and then you go and you can buy them or get it at the at the hair salon. They usually have all these magazines, and you will start selecting images that capture your attention, and you're going to put them here and you're going to create a collage. Now, if it's possible, every morning that you could see that, you can put it in your bathroom or you can put it in your bedroom. So if you have that, you could have these beautiful images in your vision board. And imagine in the morning you wake up, the first thing that you see is your vision board, and you read your intentions, you get the feeling, you create the image for it, and as soon as you wake up, you are looking at this vision board here. So it's a very powerful combination right there for you. And once you are fully awake, you can sit down over breakfast or at work and go over your goals and use the analytical part to it. One good example for a vision board that I have is if you Google it and you go to vision board. Um, this is an example. Oprah had a nice section about that, and this author Martha Beck have a very good article of vision boards. So if you go here and Google vision boards and select the old magazine, you will be able to find this great article. And one thing that I like about this article here is that at the end of the article, they give you an opportunity to create your own vision board online, and then you can print that, or you can put it as your desktop in your computer. So that's really neat to have it. So you can put it on your phone. So that's the nice thing about that one. So that's the part of the vision board here that you are creating. And with that, the most important thing here is to take action. Action is critical for your success, because you could have all the vision boards, you could have all the goals, but without this, nothing will happen. So once you have the vision and you have the proper idea, start taking the action today. Don't wait till tomorrow. So one of the important things about this is you have to trust the process. You have to believe that what you're doing is possible. The other thing that you get to do is you have to create a commitment. For yourself. So when things are hard and you are losing momentum, you look at your why and you decided to take action. And then if things are difficult for you, ask yourself this question: if any of this was possible in my life, what is the next action that I will take right now? So you might wake up one day and say, I don't want to do exercise anymore. I don't know if I will achieve my goal. At that moment, stop yourself and start asking you this question: if it will be possible for me to achieve my goal, what will be the next step that I will take today? And with that, engage with 100% of your commitment. And the other thing that is very important is that as you create your belief system, you start, you have your goal or your idea, and then you have the emotion. Okay, then you take action, and with the action you will have a result. And this result will give you feedback, and once you have the feedback, here, with that feedback, you get to revise your goals. You start saying, is this goal in alignment of what I want to achieve? And if the answer is yes, just get excited about it and take action. And every week, review that and go to that cycle and say, what I'm learning, what is the learning that I have about myself? And then continue doing that until you really, really develop a habit, and you are going to be creating a powerful, powerful system for your success. So with this, take action, get excited about it, start creating a powerful year for you, start doing it today. And if you have any questions, feel free to contact me. You can reach me at my website, which is at the end of this page here. You can my contact information is on the website, and you can go to prokelion.com. to learn more about what we do in terms of our coaching and consulting services. So thank you and have an amazing year.